Raiden Racing have got Flower Pig, Vicen Mayans, IQ0 and Shane. Then for Cyclone Racing, it's J-Box, the Ice Cheetah, Yayu and Zion FPV. Now it's the champions of the Eagle Cup. SDT, Red Sheep, Ion FPV, Sally1, Platon Air and their brand new pilot. Welcome to the DCL Sturman. The incredibly confident DCL wildcard team. It's Nemuo, Gilbert, Danube and the Bob. Phoenix Racing, can they go even further in the Hawk Cup with Atakan, It's D, Min-Jae Kim and Burkan? And it's Quad Force 1 from America with Hyper, West FPV, Cali FPV and Annihilation Robo. So we have 6 teams ready for the Drone Champions League's Hawk Cup. Every team will start on the left in the main bracket, but if they lose a race against one of the other teams, they'll be into the eliminations with only one more chance to survive. First though, we've got to seed them. So we'll get underway with our seeding race to see who's going to be where when qualification kicks off very shortly. 5 pilots in this, 5 of our teams were a Phoenix Racing. They didn't make it to the seeding race. Currently it's being led by Shane for Raiden, Yayu just alongside him and trying to squeeze past him on a few corners. That's the pilot for Cyclone. Danube from the wildcard team in here with Sally1 from SDT and West FPV is the pilot representing Quad Force 1 as we fly around Rapperswil and we're going on to the start of lap number 2. A climb up to this beautiful castle next to Lake Zurich, around a lot of these rooftops and the steeple and so on that is there in the castle grounds before 3 block trade gates brings you down alongside Lake Zurich. But every time we've flown at this location, we've always flown over the water. This time, we thought we'd get a little bit more scenic on land. Here's the spine of the track and Yayu into the column there. Bounces off before he goes down the main straight. He's still very much in contention. That was an excellent recovery by him. He's lost a little bit more time since then, but Yayu's recovery off of that bounce was brilliant. The race currently being led by Danube. Shane, almost half a second behind him after Danube's brilliant diving earlier on, just squeezed him around when Yayu came into trouble here. But Danube has got the win for the wildcard team. What a statement by the DCL wildcard team. It's going to be Quad Force 1 coming in 5th. Phoenix will of course be 6th seed as they weren't in the race. Shane and Yayu took turns leading it. Danube had it when it counts. Wow, what a finish. Earlier on, there's Danube in 3rd. Yayu coming up to the spine, hits that. Great recovery because some pilots might have lost track of which way they were facing. He didn't, he's far too experienced. That puts the wildcard team in number 1 and Raiden Racing number 2. So they get a bye in the first round. Cyclone with 3rd, they'll take on Phoenix and SDT will have Quad Force 1 to face. So for Cyclone, it's going to be Yayu and Zion FPV kicking things off against It's D and Burkan from Phoenix Racing. 2v2 here, 4 points for the winner, then 3, then 2, then 1. The other 2 pilots from each team will come after this, and then the DCL Big Heat, where all 8 of them will fly, and Burkan in the lead with It's D, his teammate in 4th. The Cyclone pilots tightly squeezed between them. Let's go alongside Lake Zurich. Zion turning earlier there to the Foxeer Tower, I like that. Great route from him. That's given him 2nd place. Yayu's just ahead of him at the moment as we're on board with Burkan hitting one of the rings over the rooftop and getting a bit dazzled and lost afterwards. He's lost over 6 seconds, in fact. That's what I was talking about in the seeding race. You could hit some of these obstacles and get completely lost afterwards as your drone has maybe bounced a lot more or less than you thought it would do and is facing a direction you weren't expecting. Now his teammate It's D could do something about 2nd place. Maybe 1st is going to be a little bit too much for him to do as Yayu is streaking away from both of those pilots. Finding his way beautifully down Ducks Under through block trade 1 and 2. There's the split S. Here's the Riverside. We're on board now with Yayu's teammate Zion, who sees him in front, and he'll be glad to see none of the drones from Phoenix Racing there. This is 2nd place following up 1st for Cyclone Racing. It's Yayu and Zion. It's D, 1.7 seconds behind the leader, and Burkan coming in a little bit behind them. So our first race of the Hawk Cup in the qualifications. Cyclone Racing are going to take it 7 points to 3. What a great start to our racing. Now look here, Zion turning and going to that tower, trying I think to head more diagonally into it and hoping to get the diagonal exit out. Burkan rattling around is what cost him that challenge for Phoenix. Let's have another one though with the other teammates, the Ice Cheetah and J-Box against Atakan and Min-Jae Kim. underway here. Now we sweep down to the roofs, and that's Minjay bouncing off and getting a very fortunate bounce through those rings. Hit the bottom of one of them, just like Burkan did earlier on, only he bounced through it and is underway in third place with the Ice Cheetah not far in front. J-Box not too far behind. Let's go on board with the Ice Cheetah in between these Phoenix pilots on the start of lap number 2 as he chases down, weaves through the rings nicely. Nobody getting caught out that time. Atakan 6/10 away and trying to stretch it some more now alongside Lake Zurich in this weaving section up and down through the trees and around the bushes of the garden of Rapperswil Castle. The Ice Cheetah still in second. It's about 3 or 4 tenths between him and Minjay Kim behind him in third. Now to the third lap, the climb, the route through the rings. Minjay pushes, nearly gets past the Ice Cheetah, trying to make it happen now. This battle will go on and on, but Atakan is untroubled as he's 1.5 seconds away. Out in front, Minjay now seeing his route. The Ice Cheetah drops in front of him down that arched section. Now we're coming up to the final turns. It's Atakan with the win. Who's second? It's the Ice Cheetah! Then it's Minjay Kim coming in 67 thousandths of a second behind him in third. And J-Box, he was a second behind in fourth. Tight race, 2.5 seconds between all 4 of them. Here's that bounce for Minjay, so he'll be very glad that Atakan stayed out in front, untroubled, stretching that lead all the way to the finish. Giving 6 points to Phoenix Racing and just 4 to Cyclone. Now it's the big heat, the first one of the Hawk Cup. All 8 of the pilots, still only 4, 3, 2 and 1 points available for the top 4. And gosh, it's 11 points to 9. It's very, very tight between these pilots. And it's Atakan, Minjay, Yayu, the Ice Cheetah, Burkan shuffling around them in sort of a stretching early group of 5, maybe 4 of them starting to leave the others behind. It's only that top 4 who are going to score for their teams. Coming around to the start of lap number 2, Minjay and Atakan for Phoenix in those leading positions. Then Yayu and the Ice Cheetah trying to stay in contention. There's only a couple of tenths between them, but that can make a huge difference in drone racing. Such a fast sport. Yayu trying to stick with them. The Ice Cheetah just slipping a little bit further behind, in danger of being caught by Burkan and losing the 4th place. Atakan and Minjay, though, up in the big scoring positions, and Phoenix, they're 2 points behind. They have to score at least 2 more points than Cyclone do, and if it carries on like this, they're going to score 7 points to 3. That'll see them into the next round without losing one of their 2 lives. We'll come to that in a moment. Let's enjoy the racing from Minjay, trying to catch his teammate Atakan, but I don't think he's going to, and I don't think Cyclone are going to stop them. There it is, 7 points to 3. Yayu surprised with his head in his hands. Minjay and Atakan out in front. Cyclone could do nothing to stop them. Congrats to Atakan, another win for him, 2 in 2. And really, it was their race all the way. The only question was which of those 2 was going to win it at the end. Atakan gets his second win. Phoenix get a 16 points to 14 win over the reigning world champions. A massive achievement for Phoenix Racing. And now it's the 4th versus 5th place teams after that seeding race. SDT and Quad Force 1. They've got Red Sheep and Sally 1 against West FPV and Cali FPV, and SDT were the winners of the Eagle Cup, the first ever time SDT have ever won anything in the DCL in all of the years they've been with us. It's been coming for a while. I've been expecting them to get a win soon. They got one in the Eagle Cup. They'd love to win the Hawk Cup outright. That would start with them doing well in the bracket, of course, and that is starting well, as on lap number 2, Red Sheep and Sally 1 are almost a second ahead of West FPV and Cali. It's all green. Red Sheep, Sally 1. Oh, now we've got a little bit of a race on between the 2 teammates. Here is Sally 1. Stops watching Red Sheep ahead of him and decides he's going to show his very young teammates a little bit of a race. Sally 1 on to start of lap number 3. Red Sheep behind him, chasing him very well. and they all won at least one race in the Eagle Cup finals. Such a great team effort from them. Red Sheep over the top of Cyclone. Oh, he's just bounced onto the ground. It's going to be Cyclone getting away from Red Sheep, but Red Sheep is not in danger from the pilots of Quad Force 1. They are a long way behind on this first race between these two teams. SDT coming out clear winners here. A 7 points to 3 is going to be for them as West FPV and Cali FPV come home now. They'll be disappointed to be so far behind, as it has been a rough year for Quad Force 1. SDT, they'll have been disappointed not to win the seeding race and everything, but Cyclone gets it underway when the points matter. Throughout a lot of that, Red Sheep was in the lead, the majority of it really. It was only on this couple of turns here where Cyclone got in front of him and stayed there. Now let's meet their other teammates. We're going to have Red Sheep's brother Platon Air with Ion FPV. They're up against Hyper and Annihilation Robo. Now Hyper's been on Quad Force 1 for the longest of all of the 4 pilots we're seeing today. Very, very important pilot, Mason West, racing for Quad Force 1. Annihilation Robo, one of their very newest pilots. They are top and tailing this race at the moment. Platon Air and Ion FPV. Well, they're in the middle of things for now, but Platon Air decides to charge in front of Hyper on the drop out of the dive tower. Great move coming out of the Foxeer gate onto the start of lap number 2. And Platon Air, he's a few years older than his younger brother, Red Sheep. He is so important for SDT. And Platon Air is getting away from Hyper. 3 attempts, trying to take it to a little bit more than that. Let's see how they go with the Foxeer dive towers. This is where he passed him, so he should be quick on the exit here, but Hyper better this time. 1 lap to go, and Platon Air a little bit further ahead than he was, but the tower was good for Hyper. He needs all the rest of it to be great now to try and catch young Platon. Annihilation Robo in 3rd as Ion isn't managing to catch him for that place. Platon Air leading Hyper down and weaving nicely towards the ground of Rappersville. This is the tower. It's a good entry in from Hyper. He's closed the gap by about 1/10, but it's nowhere near enough as he's 2nd behind Platon Air. Then it's Annihilation Robo and Ion FPV. It's a top and tailed race for SDT, and this is one of those races which ends up 5 points for each team and a win for Platon Air. Oh, he's been so good for SDT for so long, keeping his composure there. Really excellent racing to push past Hyper and then stay out in front. What happens when all of SDT have all of Quad Force 1 to contend with? Well, I think the question is more, what can Quad Force 1 do about SDT? Away we go with all of the pilots. Down and through those 2 rings and then heading groundwards with 3 SDT pilots in the top 3. Hyper got past all of them just momentarily. They're really tight. It's about 1/10 of a second between all 4, but Hyper is the only one from Quad Force 1 in those scoring positions, and SDT would love to kick him out of there. Oh, that's Platon hitting the railing just before flying down the spine. That sent him up into the trees, but he was just a little bit too low, just fractionally too low. That's put him behind his teammate Ion, both of them out of the points. Cyclone and Red Sheep, they're the ones at the front. And it's Hyper with West FPV if anyone is going to do anything about it. Quad Force 1, 4 points behind. They need to make a big difference in this race, and we're on to the final lap of it already. So quick with these pilots as they bring themselves down, weaving around all of these rooftops. Some of these pilots have flown at this location many times, but it's always a different arrangement for them every time we have a new cup. So they've never flown this track in this way. They're dealing with the confusion and complications very well, and it is Cyclone who's winning it, and Red Sheep hangs on ahead of Hyper. Then it's his brother Platon Air in 4th. 3 of the top 4 are SDT. Hyper nearly got that 2nd place, but he ends up half a second behind Red Sheep. It's Cyclone who was in front of everybody for SDT. Gosh, what a race and what a showing from SDT. That Eagle Cup, it's been so long coming. Will they get the Hawk Cup? Well, they've had a tremendous start. It finishes 20 points to 10 for SDT after Cyclone and Red Sheep were dominant in the opening race. The second one was a tie between all of the pilots, but overall SDT come out on top. That means they'll go through to the quarterfinals in the main bracket. They're going to be taking on Raiden Racing, who had a bye earlier, and those two teams are such great rivals. Can't wait for that matchup. The Phoenix Racing team, who won earlier against Cyclone, they've got the #1 seed for the Hawk Cup. That's the DCL wildcard team. And the losers from today, Quad Force 1 and Cyclone Racing, they're going to be waiting in the elimination battles to see if they can carry on in the Hawk Cup. What a fantastic set of races on just the opening day, and there's many more to look forward to as we go through this, our third stage of the World Championship for 2025. So make sure you join me, Matt Andrews, and all of us here at the Drone Champions League for the next battles, coming very soon, and we'll see you in the skies!